Hi guys, if my shirt looks familiar, because like I'm filming these videos back to back because I don't have time to sit down for an hour every day and make a video, but I have lots of time every once in a while. So today I want to talk to you guys about the history of Wicca and witchcraft. This is the page I'm going to be starting on today. As you can see, there's a little envelope and there's a little picture of a sundial here, and I'm going to explain all of this. I already showed in another video, if you watched that. This pulls out and there's some pictures in there. So I'm going to be going over all of this first. The first part is just some history of what all went down with the witch hunts and stuff, so I'm just going to read that off to you. Sorry if this gets boring. Maybe I can overlay some images I find to make it less boring. Okay. Paganism has been around for a long time, unlike Wicca, which is fairly new. People believed what they took from the earth they had to give back in energy. Paleolithic people worshipped a hunter god and a fertility goddess. Paintings were found on a cave wall and they were estimated to be 30,000 years old, which is proof so far witchcraft is the oldest belief system today. When Christianity gave rise after the fall of the Roman Empire, they tried to convert pagans to Christians, which is the reason for the holidays being so similar. When some pagans wouldn't convert, a witch hunt was launched by the Christian church. This is the 15th century to the 18th century. Christians believed pagans were evil and worshipped the devil due to myths they created to scare pagans into converting, or to scare family and friends into getting them to convert. It was believed by Christians that witches got powers from a pact with Satan. In Scotland, it was believed witches had the devil's mark, where the devil had marked them, where he consummated their pact. It was on the devil's mark where the witch could not feel any pain, so to find the witch's skin was pricked with a needle. Most accused were elderly women who used herbs for healing. Presence of toads, cats, mice, spiders, and pets at all, which were familiars, or believed to be familiars, were proof of witchcraft, oftentimes killed along with the accused. People believed that familiars were given to the witches by the devil. Many animals were killed during this era because Christians believed anything other than the spirit of an angel was a demon, but to pagans, familiars were like guardian angels. I'm going to have a different chapter on them a bit later to go more into detail about the different kinds and all that kind of stuff. During the Salem witch trials, a man was charged with encouraging a dog to attack. The dog was trialed, convicted, and hanged. Salem trials. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this because you have heard it in school, and yeah. Interestingly enough, I read about it when I was younger, but they never taught it to us in school like I thought they would. So I don't know if I took a religion class if they would teach that, but it was interesting that they didn't teach that. Because this, I would say, the witch hunt is just as important as the Holocaust to teach people, because it was a form of discrimination. But I think the reason why it's not talked about is because still to this day Christians believe that pagans or people of other religions are witches or they're the devil and all this stuff. So I think because it's too associated with religion, they don't teach it in school, but they should. I personally think they should, because by teaching kids about the Holocaust and about slavery and about the witch hunts, you're teaching people not to discriminate just based off of what somebody looks like and what somebody does and the different things they do and the different religions they are. So that's just my view on that. Anyway, let's read this. The witch hunt made it to the American colonies in 1692 in Salem, Massachusetts. Oh my gosh, I cannot say anything. A group of girls began dabbling for thrills in folk magic. The girls, when accused, started accusing other villagers. 141 arrests and 20 executions were caused. Those who denied being witches were normally killed. The girls were brought in all over the place, saying they could tell if someone was a witch. They laughed at trial, saying their victim was summoning demons to torment the court. All was jokes, as the girls were not witches, but very real things went down because of their lies. In 1644, John Proctor and Proctors and his wife were accused of witchcraft. John had long been a firm disbeliever in witches and was disgusted in what was going on. John was hanged August 1960. I feel like I have the wrong date. It just doesn't make sense to me. John was hanged August 19, 1692. His wife was spared as she was pregnant. She outlived the witch hunt, and the book by Arthur Miller was written called The Crucible, about the Salem trials. When the world of science came along, it created rationalism and the witch killing stopped. So I have a little image of John's sundial that he had here. I actually, after writing all that in there, I found out there's a little more information about him. So I do have a part of the book where I can add that in, along with other things I find about history, so I'm glad for that. At the bottom, you might have also saw I had a little envelope, and it said torture devices along the side of it, and you pull it out, and there is this in there. So I'm going to go through all the pictures because that is part of the information. So this picture is a witch's collar. Sorry if my eyes look weird because I'm reading the stuff on the back I have. Okay, whatever. This is a witch's collar. It was locked around a victim's neck with spikes and a long pole attached to lead the person through the streets. Townspeople would typically taunt the victim. Sorry if I hold them like upside down because I have to read the writing. But that's that picture, if you can see it. A witch's scale. Suspects were put on the iron chair and weighed against 2 huge volumes of the Bible. If you were weighed less, you were a witch. Witch's chair. Accused witches were tied to it and set on fire, or they were thrown into water. Another common practice was tying wrists and ankles and throwing them into the water. This one's, I'm gonna have to turn this one upside down, but you can see what's there. Mask of Fear. Designed to silence naggers and slanderers, as well as suspect witches, made to cause maximum discomfort and humiliation. Burning. If nothing else killed them, they were burned. Put on a stake and burned alive, they believed the fire was the devil taking over their souls. Open wide. A screw mechanism was used to pry open a victim's mouth, and gallons of liquid would be poured down until the confession was forced. I could not find a picture of this, so I actually found an activist photo of somebody showing what it would be like to get tested on, like the animals are in laboratories. But as you can see, their mouth is being pulled open with some sort of thing, and I believe that's pretty close to what it would have looked like, so that's what I used. You can tell they're getting hanged. Public hangings. Many convictions were based solely on the evidence of very young children, along with the forced induced confessions. Sorry, that was hard to read. One of the letters was coming off. Drowning. Witches cannot drown since clean water rejects them, so accused were forced underwater. If you sank, you were innocent. If you floated, you were a witch. And then here's this little thing. Deadly spikes. Coffin-like metal statuette. The witches were pushed inside the chamber and the spike door forced shut. Few survived, mostly children, because they're smaller, so they wouldn't get stabbed. So that's all of the torture devices I found. If you can think of any more, of course, put them in the comments. Other 2 history pages. This is the envelope I was talking about. There's nothing in there right now, but that is where I will put more information if I find more information, because I definitely forgot stuff. So under the possession, it's an explanation of what that was. So Ernest Codfield, 1894 to 1972, analyzed 18th century descriptions of children who were thought to be bewitched. He referred to the memorable provinces' relation to witchcraft and possessions. This is why I included it, because possession is very closely linked with witchcraft. It provided descriptions with great detail. Here is the diagnosis he made. Ergot. Claviclepsperlera. Very hard to pronounce, but that's the diagnosis he made. It's, I'll explain it. Ergot is a parasitic fungus This was not known until the 19th century. Ergot was believed to have a relation between ergotized rye and bread poisoning. Elderly, pregnant women and children were more susceptible. There was, or is, two types of ergotism poisoning: gangrenous and convulsive. Vitamin A deficiency can cause convulsive ergotism, but too much vitamin A can cause gangrenous ergotism. Gangrenous ergotism. Affected portions of the body, causing them to fall away, can lead to neurological effects such as convulsions, and that leads to the second type of ergotism. Ergotism, convulsive, crawling sensations in the skin, tingling in the fingers, vertigo like tinctus aurium, headaches, disturbances in sensation, hallucinations, painful muscular contractions, leading to epileptic form convulsions, vomiting, diarrhea, mania, melancholia, psychosis, delirium, livid skin color, sensations of the heat and cold, ravenous appetite, dementia, myocardium, and gastric, intestinal, muscular, coat, and voluntary stimulated. So LSD was a medication used to treat ergot, which now we know is like a drug. So yeah, a long time ago, the drugs we have now were used to treat a lot of things. There's a lot of other interesting stuff about that. LSD was a medication used to treat ergot. Growing conditions and pattern of agriculture practices fit timing of the 1692 crisis in Salem, as well as ergotism's effect on children. 3 out of the 11 girls in Salem were under 15. It's believed many people who had ergotism were accused of being possessed because of their symptoms: convulsions, vomiting, involuntary bowel movements, diarrhea, ravenous appetite, hallucinations, mania, and muscular contractions, which at the time, because no one could describe what was going on, they blamed it on the devil and witches, and said people were being possessed. So I just kind of took the symptoms from ergot, the ones that people witness when they see possession. Personally, because of this, I do not believe possession is actually happening. I believe that there can be spirits that can have negative intentions or positive intentions, but I don't believe they're there to just purposely just make your life miserable and possess you. And you know, I believe everything happens for a reason, so if you have a negative spirit visiting you, it's probably because you did something bad, and that is your form of karma coming back. But yeah, let me know your opinion. And then the last part for history is the history of women in witchcraft. I don't think I included everything again, so let me know if I forgot something. Please, 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 that would be awesome, because I started the Wattpad book, Journal of a Wiccan, to get people to let me know more information just in case I forgot stuff, but not really a lot of people have done that, so yeah, let me know if there's anything you know that I do not know. After the fall of the Roman Empire, diviners, wizards, unwitchers, faith healers, herbalists, cunning men, and wise women received the new name White Witches, accused of practicing witchcraft. Although they weren't practicing harmful magic, black and gray, they were leading people away from the god into the clutches of Satan. Because it is believed any type of witch worked in a pack with Satan, anyone needed supernatural aid now must go to the church. Not only were these greatly looked upon helpers and healers, wise ones, accused of witchcraft, but so were many women and the mentally ill. The Christian church believed if a woman thought on her own, her thoughts were evil, and that when she spoke up for herself, it was the devil telling her what to say. They believed all women had a witch in them, and that their witchy emotions must be kept under control. Not only did this mean to keep quiet, but that women belonged in marriage and men belonged on top. Sexual pleasure had to be avoided at all costs. Premarital sex was punishable by death. People were gaining lust, and the new gospel preached discipline and restraint. Women were made out to cause sexual temptations because of their witch powers. If a man raped a woman, it was the woman's fault because she lured the men in and bewitched him. This was often an excuse for sexual violence and still is today. Bewitching was said to be fixed by becoming a Christian. At the same time of the witch craze, which reached its peak, so had charges of sodomy, bigamy, incest, abortion, as well as other sexual crimes, as many women were killed for infanticide as for witchcraft. Many older women and widows were at risk of delusions of witchcraft. Many of the people who confessed to witchcraft were actually mentally ill. Some believed they were witches after being accused and began believing what everyone said about them. And others just wanted attention, such as the young girls from the Salem trials. And then I have my 3 pictures. I can't talk. Pitches. I have my 3 pictures. This one most describes what the Christian church believed witches to look like. The other 2 are more what I believe them to look like. But I also didn't include like an ugly woman as a witch because that didn't come in until later. That like in the beginning, the church believed that women were very attractive to be a witch and they would be able to bewitch you. They believed the broom represented the devil's penis and they would ride it. The hat was used for when they were being burned. It was, I forget what it was for. There's a few things that I know that I just haven't written down, so that will be going into the more history part. But basically, ugly witches didn't come until later when people were like, oh, witches, they're ugly and gross, just to turn people off looking into it more, I think. So that's all for this part, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!